left to right. Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
What's up, guys? Welcome to Party on Broad. Let's start by introducing our guest for today. Let's start with Vic. You can find him on Twitter at @ThePhillyPod. What's going on, Vic?
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here on Party on Broad. Glad that Eagles football is back, baby. It's the first game of preseason. It was a long 4 quarters, but we got through it. Happy to be here.
Birds are back. It was a brutal game. They lost 27-10 to the Tennessee Titans. But Eagles are back. What's up, Steven? How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Glad to be on the pod and glad to overreact to some third-string guys in preseason.
You can find Steven on Twitter at PhillyFanaticYT, and also make sure to check out his YouTube channel. So for On Tap today, we're just going to give our instant reactions, our top 3 standouts for the game, and we're also going to give kind of our top 5 takeaways from the first preseason game. Let's overreact. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah, ready to overreact.
All right, so we're going to kind of do this as a countdown kind of thing. So we're going to start with 3, and then we're going to go all the way to 1 with our top standouts. Let's start with number 3. I am going to go with JJ Arcega-Whiteside. He didn't really have that big of an impact on the game. He only had, 2 catches, but he also had that drop. It was like a one-handed drop. If anything, he shows that he belongs in the NFL. Why don't you go, Vic? What's your number 3 standout for today?
Number 3, I would say, what's his first name? Michelle. I forget his first name already. Sonny Michel's brother. I can't remember his first
Michelle.
name. Yeah. So he was able to beat Adoree Jackson, which is Tennessee's starting cornerback. He was able to beat him for a 75-yard touchdown. And wide receiver is a tough position this preseason. It's a position that's going to be almost impossible to crack because obviously Deshaun and Alshon and the rest of them are here. So if there was anything to try and make your case to make this team as a wide receiver, Michelle was able to do that. So good on him.
Yeah, dude. I didn't even know who that was until he made that catch. That was wild. Go ahead, Steven. Number 3.
So my number 3 actually has got to be Josh. I was really impressed with him. I know injuries, whatever you want to say, has been holding him back early on in his NFL career. When you look at the defensive end position, him being a capable player is going to be so important on this team. They lost a few key guys in the offseason, and to me, he just really stood out. He's like an athletic freak. I mean, his arms are really long too. He stood out to me athletically, really quick off the ball and stuff like that.
Awesome. Number 2, I'm going to go with Nate Sudfeld. He left after the first half of the game with a wrist injury. Do we know anything or have an update from Doug Peterson? The game's literally just wrapping up. Does anyone have any info on that?
Last I heard, it's a fracture, and he's going to be out for the first quarter to a third of the season. So they might be looking into second stringers, but it's not looking good for Sudfeld at this point.
Nate Sudfeld, he was 10 of 18, 177 yards and a touchdown. He did get sacked once, but 10 yards per reception. Per throw. I just loved. He seemed to be in rhythm today. That's a tough loss, and don't get me started on Sam Bradford. I just can't. I can't. What was your number 2, Victor? Go ahead.
Number 2 for me, Andre Dillard. The thing about Andre Dillard is that you didn't hear his name at all, which means he didn't make any mistakes. So it's good for Andre Dillard. He looks like he does belong in the NFL. He was relatively blocking pretty easily with those guys in there, and I think Dillard is going to have no problem starting if he has to this season.
Awesome, man. How about you, Steven?
So my number 2 and 1 could be a toss-up. You can change either. I'm actually going to go with Dallas Goedert. He's another guy. To me, out of all the players out there, he looks like I think we might be able to call it quits for preseason for him. He just looks way too. I don't know. I think he's ready for the NFL season. I'll just put it that way.
Awesome segue there, dude. Number 1 for me has got to be Dallas Goedert. I was right there with you, Steven. It was like the end of the first quarter. He had 3 catches in 50 yards in the first quarter. And by then I was like, just get him off the field, wrap him up in bubble tape. Let's move on through the whole preseason. So What was your number one, Victor?
It was Dallas as well. I was saving him for the top. Dallas Goedert looks like I don't want to say he's on equal footing with Zach Ertz, but he looks pretty damn close. He's overpowered for a lot of those second stringers. He honestly had no business even being on the field. So Dallas Goedert, he got separation easily. He took contact easily. All his catches looked like he was, on the practice field. And so yeah, Dallas Goedert. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see much more of him this preseason.
It's true. The Eagles are dropping like flies. So, Steven, or do we get your number one?
So my number one's actually Andre Dillard. I feel like Dallas Goedert, we kind of knew what to expect from him. He was going to go out there and play well. Andre Dillard, I don't want to say he was like a question, but we were definitely going to be, he's a rookie. We want to see what he's got while we used a first-round pick on him. He was great in pass protection, didn't get beat from what I saw. Really liked what I saw from him on, I think it was a screen pass. He completely, I don't know if you guys understand how like the whole blocking techniques work, but he like completely baited the end in and pushed him over to the side and helped a nice little screenplay. So I liked what I saw from him.
The athleticism is real. The IQ is real. Just a complete package, man. Let's move on to our top 5 takeaways for today. I'm going to start off with number 5. We gave our 3 standouts of the day. I'm going to give you my number 1, rotten player of the day, and that is Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor was terrible. He has been a disaster all training camp. He had 3 penalties today. 2 were just brain dead. If there's anyone that has a stock that's way down, it's Matt Pryor for me. Was number 5 for you, Victor? Go ahead, man.
We're doing abysmal players now, so
we can do whatever you want. It could be related to the game. It could be takeaways for the season.
My takeaway is if Carson Wentz goes down, we're in some trouble. I was about to say another word. We're in some trouble if Carson Wentz goes down. Yeah. Clayton Thorson has no business even being on the field. I'm mad we wasted a 5th round. Not really wasted, but a 5th round pick heavily could be used on a more productive player than Clayton Thorson. Cody Kessler looks equally as troublesome. I hope that, like, I don't want to say Kaepernick can start that argument, but like we need somebody in here in that string, because when Carson goes down, you might as well just fold the season, man. Because at least Nate Sudfeld looked like you could instill hope. Like at least if he went down, you could have been like, maybe he'll pull it out. Maybe the pieces are good enough where he can kind of manage it. But now without him, I don't know what to make of the QB situation anymore. It's looking bleak.
The only thing that Clayton Thorson does really well is throw those worm balls. You got to
get bounds is what he does. Really well.
You got to give it to Thorson for those worm balls. He looks terrible. Steven, go ahead. Give me a takeaway.
So this takeaway drives me absolutely nuts, and it's such an underrated thing that you look at in running backs. Josh Adams still has ball security issues, man, and you just can't afford to be fumbling the ball, especially in preseason when your job is on the line.
Absolutely right. Josh Adams, that running back position's one of the strengths of the Eagles roster this year. My 4th one, you guys kind of nailed it. I didn't get into this in my top 3, but Jordan Mailata and Andre Dillard absolutely look like they got future tackle, starters, moving forward. Got another takeaway, Victor?
Another one, I think Andrew Sendejo actually be a pretty decent safety. He made a couple of good plays back-to-back in the first quarter today, breaking up some passes. I think Sendejo, I kind of ripped him a little bit for coming in because we all remember him getting run over by LeGarrette Blount in the championship game. So we were like, we don't want that guy. But Sendejo does look like he'll be a nice fit if McLeod is still having injury issues, or if Malcolm has to slide down the nickel and Sendejo has to come in. I think he'll be a nice player in this secondary.
Awesome. Steven, go ahead.
So I actually just thought of this one on the fly. If Jonathan Cyprian isn't a Jim Schwartz safety, I don't know who is. He fits the build completely, fits the mold.
Yeah, broke that man down to the teeth.
Yeah, he got some tackles today. Another one of my takeaways was the wide receiver position. The Pro Football Focus released an article like a week ago saying the Eagles had the number 1 wide receiving crew in all of the NFL. And I kind of laughed at that initially. I don't know. I think I'm going to be eating some crow because they look stacked. Which if JJ Arcega-Whiteside is every bit as good as we think he is, I don't know, man. Any takeaways with the wide receiving crew? Victor?
Yeah. Well, number one, it's Arcega-Whiteside. I keep having to convert you over to Arcega, man. We have to do this.
Thegatron.
Get it right.
Sorry,
Get it right. But yeah, wide receivers. They're up there with. I'm looking at the Rams as possibly being the only one with the better course than they have. I think, and then maybe the Browns. I guess you got OBJ and those guys, Jarvis Landry. So those two, I will compete. But man, if everybody stays healthy, Deshaun obviously the best deep threat in football. Alshon, one of the better possession receivers in football. Aguilar can burn you if everybody's staring at Deshaun. And then you have Whiteside. It's just a matter of who you can't put two bodies on every person. Somebody's going to be open. And let's not even factor in Goedert and Ertz and Sproles out the backfield. It's going to be impossible to guard these guys.
Right on. Steven, anything else?
Any takeaways?
Yeah, man.
So as a guy, I watch the NFL, mostly Eagles. Zach Brown really flies to the ball. I really liked what I saw out of him in the little bit that he played. So that's a nice pickup. We're thin at linebacker, so I mean he's going to be pretty important there.
He needed a big game too because his training camp has not been impressive. So
hasn't been impressive.
He needed today to kind of solidify his spot. We were all staring at him like he could be cut. I never really believed it though, but today proved that he'll probably start alongside Nigel Bradford unless Gary shows us something that we haven't seen before.
One takeaway, we can't talk about this game without mentioning how badass Jason Kelce looked on the sideline today. Woo! He looked like the Big Lebowski on the sideline. I was just waiting to see like him holding a drink or something. And the last takeaway I have is Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz 100% taking us to a Super Bowl this year. It's over. Just wrap it up. Anything else before we wrap this up, Victor?
I wanted to see more out of Miles Sanders. He only got 3 carries. I mean, it's not his own fault. The offensive line certainly didn't do him any favors. But I hope to see more of Miles Sanders. We expect to see at least one series out of Carson Wentz. It's the whole Wentz versus Foles thing next week. So I hope we get to see a little bit more out of Miles Sanders. We saw a couple of carries for Jordan Howard. He got his regular 4 or 5 yard carries. We expect that from Jordan Howard. I just hope to see a little more out of Miles Sanders than some of his jump cuts we've been hearing about.
Yes or no? Are you for Carson Wentz playing in the preseason? Go ahead, Victor.
Am I for it? Am I saying it as a fan or am I saying it as like an analyst? Like, I think
either.
From a fan, heck yeah, I want to see Carson Wentz. I want to see him play the first half if possible. But from a coaching standpoint, I understand why. You're seeing players go down left and right, and we remember the hairline fracture from his rookie year and he got hurt that quick. We don't want to hamper anything from Carson Wentz starting week 1 because we all seen what's going to happen if he's not playing. So I understand why. I hope we get one series out of the next game. Him and Foles are probably going to play a series each and that'll be touted up to no end.
Go ahead, Steven. Any takes on Carson Wentz playing this preseason?
So before I saw what happened to Nate Sudfeld tonight, I wanted to see him play like at least a half of football. But honestly, I mean, one drive is fine. That's it. I mean,
one throw, get out.
One throw.
Yeah, just hand it to Jordan Howard 3 times, get off the field.
I need one bomb to Deshaun, and then both of them can come off the field. That's all I need. But they're saving that for week 1.
I heard, yeah. So this is Party on Broad. Make sure you check out Victor's Philly special podcast. He's going to get in depth. Make sure you check out Steven's YouTube channel. I saw you got one on a Nate Sudfeld reaction. It's awesome stuff.
I need to see that.
Yeah, man. That is Philly Fanatic YT on Twitter and Philly Fanatic, I think, or is it Steven Conrad Jr. on Twitter or on YouTube?
It's Steven Conrad Jr. on YouTube until YouTube can help me change my name.
Sixers win it! Wow! Oh, man, Embiid just posterized Russell Westbrook.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell